Good morning and welcome to another edition of Roadhouse Live. We are live today. It's August 14th, 2023. Wow, what a night of upside down, right side up, back down, and maybe kind of sort of back up with futures and the way things were moving and grooving. China took it in the face, something about some real estate not doing so well. Japan took it in the face, not sure why, maybe because of China, but they took it in the face also. We've taken it in the face for the past week, so maybe we can find a bottom and stop taking it in the face. This is coming off of a blockbuster Friday provided by Bender, one of the most amazing Fridays we've seen in quite a long time. He called the bottom, he called the top, he called the moves, he calls the wibble and the wobble. Bender, how are you this morning?
Well, I appreciate that. I'm all right. Good morning. Yeah, Friday was a pretty good day. There was one piece of it that I got wrong, which was not closing above that 15,130, which I thought we would get there, and that we wicked it a couple times, but they just couldn't give it to us. We couldn't get up and over.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we got it this morning, if that means anything to you.
No. I wanted it Friday.
There you have it. Never satisfied. All right. So as far as data today, we really don't have anything going on for us today. We do actually. We I take that back. We get consumer inflation expectations. We get a bill auction, and then tonight Japan has GDP, and I think China has some industrial such as and whatnots. So that it's like honestly, we are where we are. We're at the tail end of earnings seasons. It's still, a decent amount of earnings still to be released. But these are our charts. This is where we are. Price action, I think, is very uncomfortable for everybody. I don't think anybody's real thrilled with the price action. The range that it's giving, maybe kind of sort of, you can be like, yeah, no, this is a good range. But it's a tough place to trade. So with that being said, Bender, walk us through where we are and where we may, keyword being may, be going.
Yes, sure. Let's get into it. Here we go. All right, let's start with the daily, and just a quick recap here. You can see this parallel channel that we've been in. We've been talking about that for a while. So you get the bottom of that channel down here. That's where this line comes from. This was also previous new week opening gap, the top of it, right? So we came down, wicked that. That's where we bounced. And so we're kind of sitting in here, this orange line, that's the 50 MA on the daily. So right now, we're just kind of hovering around that 50 MA, just above the bottom of that channel, right? And after wicking off that old new week opening gap. So, this candle's low right here, 44.59.25. If we break below that, then, potentially we get the bottom of this channel, maybe a little more. That would come in about 15 handles down from here. If we get, one of those wicks that extends through the channel a little bit, if they're going to give us that, the levels I'd be looking for, really, you got this 44.10, this swing low right here, this candle's low, that 44, what is that, 44.11.25. So maybe they pierce, come down there to take that out. That would kind of be the screw everybody, I think. That would get people scared, right? If it comes down and pierces this candle's low. Don't know that that'll happen, right? Maybe what we've gotten is indeed already enough, right? I'm going to highlight this right in here because that, as you can see, is a fair value gap on the daily. So a move down to the bottom of the channel today, tomorrow, right? That's not far because it's 18 handles down from here or so. that would fill in that fair value gap on the daily, put us at the bottom of the channel. That'd be a really interesting spot. We've been talking about that for a while. Okay. I'm going to go into a 15-minute. Now we know where all that stuff comes from. And you can see what I've marked out here. We've got London session high all the way up here at 45.01.25. And you get the Asia session low down here, 44.65. And I've marked the midnight open here. And what you can see is the midnight open is also the bottom of this 15-minute fair value gap here, right down to the bottom of it. Right. So it's wicked below and then it pulled right back up. But if you look at the bodies of the 15-minute candles as of now, the bodies are all holding above that. Right. So what I would be looking for to get any sort of continuation to the downside would be a candle closing below that level, 44.69. That's what I'd be looking for. And then maybe it takes out, if it wicks it, if it even pierces it, and it can't quickly reclaim it, then I'd be looking for that Asia session low. And I'll be looking at this, on a 5-minute and on a 1-minute. And I'll be looking for those 1-minute candles to see if it comes down, uses that as resistance, then it targets that Asia session low, and then back down in here, 44.59. But until that happens, so far, we filled in that 15-minute fair value gap, and the bodies continue to hold above. As you can see, we've left some stuff behind here. If we're going to go back to talking about Brad, Chad, and Thad, well, this is the 15-minute fair value gap that sits above. So you're looking at 44.78.25 up to 44.84. Half would fill that in. And if it can get through that and this fair value gap can become support, then we target that London session high back up at 45.01, 45.01.25. And then really, as you can see in these candles here, there's a little 15-minute fair value gap in there, but it already wicked up into it. So I don't know that would be the target. It didn't leave anything behind here. So then all you have is that right in there around that 45.27 level, marking the bottom of that 15-minute fair value gap. And then above there, it can really get going because you got 45.45, this swing high from August 4th, still hanging out up there, 45.60.75. And then we can talk about what else is up there, right? But for now, just to kind of get bearings coming into the day, coming into the week, this is how I'm looking at the morning right here. I want to see, what happens with this 15-minute fair value gap and what we do if indeed we take that Asia session low. And that's about it. I mean, it's pretty like this is where we're at, and
it's pretty cut and dry over there.
Yeah, it really is.
All right. Do we have Sonny or no? No, he's childing. Stonkington, tell us some stuff, Stonkington.
Hello. He's childing. Oh, I don't know what that means. Let's see. All right. I'm awake. I'm ready. Let's look at some stuff, some things, some charts. Here we go. Get a share going. Let's see. What do we want to look at first? We got some things going on for sure. Let's look. We'll look at the weekly here on the Qs, and we can do our nod to Mr. Larry Williams on a weekly. We could maybe have a smash set up here to the upside on the weekly candle. So again, smash burger, smash day, Larry Williams, means failed breakout. So when we close below the prior low, we'll be looking at a long where we break the high. So we'll get a pop in the room, an alert popping in the room if we were to cross last week's high to the upside. Let's see if we can find some examples here of, let's see. Yeah, like here, these would be smash days to the downside. Here we closed above the prior week's high. Once we broke the low, nice little short. Closed above the prior high. Once we broke the low, nice little short. So again, that's kind of just like the idea. So we'll see if we get a failed breakout to the downside. SPY looks same on a weekly, close below the prior low. So if we break above, that could be our long for a smash day. So we'll see what we get. That's something to keep in the back of our minds. And then let's jump into some. We'll drill down on some of these. We could start with the NASDAQ. Let's see what we got. All right, so we've got what I have marked up here. The pink line's going to be our new week opening gap. Important line to have in your chart there. And then I've had this 4-hour line here has been important. We keep coming back and kind of dancing around there. Basically just was a line where it's like this could be a bull bringing it down to this level that they want to just keep getting in at a lower price. Below with this area, I believe we had this on a monthly fair value gap. Just really trying to zoom out here. So basically low this candle down to here. So this could be a draw if we were to continue to the downside. That 475.75. So that's all kind of open there below. And then, we've had some pretty balanced price action above. Currently, these candles, we could say there could be a draw here, a little fair value gap. They might lift this guy behind, but otherwise everything back here is pretty balanced until we get up into this fair value gap here, the high of that candle to the low of this one. So that could be our target, and we're kind of still in this falling channel here. Might actually just adjust this trend line. Let's see, so we could have this kind of looking like this, just all those bounces on the way down kind of thing. And then let's see. So that's kind of what we'll be looking for in the NASDAQ, and they'll be looking for flow to kind of guide us there. Let's see. They've been all over the place. It's like they're buying NVIDIA 500 calls, then they're bailing. So it's like I think flow will be a guide. Kind of keep an eye on that. We've got a similar kind of look to it here on the Russell. We've got our new week opening gap there. Pink boxes below are going to be daily gaps, and we're in this channel. And then we've just been kind of bouncing around this range that we'll need to get some kind of break to get some momentum, give us some signals. But yeah, so first downside target, be looking down to this 1911.20, or it looks like 1911.30 there. And then if we were to move to the upside, we got to first slice through our new week opening gap, and then we've got a target up here, this 1940.90, and then if we could maybe break out to the upside of this channel, I could see some momentum there. See what we get. Let's see. Put out on Twitter a couple little trade ideas. One was going to be Google. Not usually one on my favorite to trade list, but it's got double inside weeks, so we could see a move. We've got this big earnings gap below, so we've got maybe some room to the downside. So I'm going to be watching. Looks like we already lost this level. I was looking at this 129.27. So the next thing I'll be looking for a break below is going to be this 128. No, what's that? Yeah, 128.80. So we'll get an alert that pops there, and then we have this dark pool above. We'll get an alert if we pop to the upside of that 130.35 is basically what I was looking for to the upside there. So compression on Google, we'll see what we get. I'll just kind of be looking for those alerts in the room. And then the other one was going to be FSLR, dark pool. It's stuck between these two thick dark pools there, the 206.25, and then below is 203.04. We'll get alerts on this one as well. And I also saw kind of like a Head and Shoulders here. It was cleaner on the 4 hour there with, let's just maybe hide some of this stuff. Hide, get out of here. There we go. So yeah, I can kind of see it for this Head and Shoulders here, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And we'll get some alerts that pop here in the room on FSLR. Otherwise, I'll just kind of be watching the regulars and reading flow. I think that's all I got. We're ready.
That's all you got?
All right.
That's all I got.
So this week I believe we get Fed minutes this week. I think we have a couple other data points. We have to treat it just like any other. There's nothing massive that's going to be floating around that I saw. Maybe I'm wrong. If there is, somebody correct me. But I think that we really, when we've had the sell, when we've had this downward channel that Stonkington showed and Bender showed, and looks like maybe it doesn't want to put in a lower low. Maybe it does. We have to get into the concept of price discovery and start looking at individual tickers. Apple being one that it's really hung in this 177 area nicely, and we do have some 180 calls coming into it. On the other hand, we have Tesla. They had a handful of 227.50 puts come in. On the other hand, there we have Nvidia that Stonkington mentioned. We have some 500 calls over there. We also have some 380 puts over there. So there's this balance that's going on, and I think we are indeed in the midst of a Bennett, what's the right word? Is price discovery the right word for it? When you're coming off of ER and the ERs were kind of like, oh, okay, that's not so bad. We get a drawdown, a pullback after a hot run. Isn't that what we're doing right now? Just trying to figure out, quote unquote, fair value within this range?
I mean, you have to, I assume that the majority of what has come out was already known, right? If the market does indeed price things out 12 to 18 months in advance, I don't know if that's really what we're doing. I lean towards, as we've talked about, banging our head against the top of that channel. Mm-hmm. We'd hit some technical levels, coupled with the fact that, there was a lot of liquidity sitting below to go grab. So now we come down to the bottom of the channel. So, I don't know. I guess the idea of quote unquote fair value as it relates to what the actual price is like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, is this really a function of them going, well, on the EES is 44, 58, 75 fair, like, I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think it's more
I know. I think the components of what it is make it what it is, right? So it's like, is Apple fair value at 175, 170, or 180? That has a massive impact on the ES.
I don't know how much that question actually matters, because when you look at, tickers that are trading at, 200 times forward earnings, or, you get like good names that just get, how long was, and I'll just use it as an example, but how long was Meta trading, at one point it seemed like
a 7 PE, something like that.
like damn near book value. So
Meta had its own problems with trying to do something that it couldn't pull off and
course.
bleeding through cash like crazy. So there's a story behind that at a minimum.
There's a story behind it, but I don't know. I don't know how many tickers really that you can look at and necessarily make sense. There's plenty of them out there that it's just like, okay, this it doesn't really make sense. But who cares? It is what it is. I just don't know how important or how much of a factor that actually is. I think, I do think some of the long-term, the long-term outlook, maybe long-term ramifications of some actions. But I think more often than not, those are the things that are not known, like Anheuser-Busch, right? When that happened and the stock tanked. Okay. Yep. That may have a longer term impact. I don't know how much,
It's priced in.
Apple moving $5 up or $5 down. Like, are they really trying to figure out what the right price for Apple is, or
I think where
are
the
they
right
just
price
taking
to load,
stops and playing liquidity?
a range to load, a range to be able to buy. And I don't know if that level is in this 177 level or 172, but it certainly isn't in the 150s. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, look, we have a quick and easy show today. We have about 17 minutes until open. Let's see what they give us. I think if we are patient, we will get what we want and more. But trying to figure out what they're doing this morning, overnight in this morning, can make you a little bit crazy. So let's have a level of patience. Let's be smart. Let's follow the lines. Let's follow the flow. Let's have a good week. See you guys soon.
See you in a few.